Greetings. It's the 8th of February 2011, around 9:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. Yes. I'm standing here with a cup of tea, some green tea with ginger. I have some free journaling time. It's being gifted to me left and right over these past many days now, and I'm grateful for it now. Anyhow, uh, I'm having these energy fluctuations from low to high and high to low. I believe this stems from an anticipatory choice that I'm making um, concerning the consumption of coffee in my life. I was on the verge. The last time I was on this verge um, was over 2 years ago. I was just about to quit, and something came along and influenced me to drink it again, and I became more addicted than I've ever been. Uh, I'm going to flip a light on and go ahead and look into the camera a little here. That might be a little better. Yeah, we'll go there. And So I'm here with a cup of tea, and I believe green tea does have caffeine. Um, uh, how it functions, I'm not quite sure because I haven't really been drinking tea at all. To me, it's just a way to have sugar, and if I'm going to have my sugar, I've been having it with coffee. However, the focus of this conversation is more on that I'm eliminating coffee from my diet more and more. However, it's still daily. Um, and in the past few days, I've been saying to myself, that's it. I shall not have coffee in the morning. And one of those mornings I didn't, and didn't end up having it till much later in the day, probably around 11 or 12. Usually I have it right away. It's a ritual. I enjoy the flavor. The thought of doing it in the morning even makes me feel glad, knowing that I'm about to have coffee. I just know that it's not really good for me. It's a vice that I believe I will experience. Um, I believe I'll experience a change in my surroundings as a result of eliminating coffee and a couple other things. Uh, Alcohol, although I love beer, I mean, as soon as it touches my lips, you know, buzzed. And I don't drink I don't drink in a mass quantities of beer. Although I can string together 5 or 6 days where I'm having two every day, maybe three, and I drink about 7% alcohol beers, a little on the heavier side. And I enjoy the hoppy flavor, which comes from the hops, and metabolically, this also could, you know, just kind of redirect me. So it's up to me to see what I would like to see by having coffee and alcohol uh, absent from my daily lifestyle. And I'm excited about this because that's just 2 items. There's others, and there's no need to really multiply. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be corn on the cob, for another person. So, um, and it could be, 5 different things, several. And so to pick one and move, pick two perhaps. It can be habit forming, I'm sure. I mean, I'm experiencing it in some ways in my life. This whole thing leading up to this is uh, this choice. It kind of seems trivial. It's just coffee, but then you're intertwining your neurology, and you're also intertwining the chemistry of your surroundings. Like, I'm speaking for myself here by saying you understood um, that your your surroundings change, and I'm speaking from some prior experiences. For example, tobacco, which is one of the others that I've already really um, pressed away, and not necessarily filled it back up with the others. Although perhaps I'm being steady with the alcohol and the coffee. Alcohol less, actually. It's the coffee that's the primary one. It is the leading daily um, drug for me. Leading daily. I'm glad that I eliminated tobacco, because the combination of alcohol, or excuse me, yeah, alcohol and tobacco, but like like coffee and tobacco, it's like you got this smoky stuff, and then you've got this kind of acidic um, liquid that actually, I believe, is, well, it's a diuretic, and mm, it's a diuretic, and it's doing something to the cells, and so this daily thing. So my cells are craving it, or they're sending a message that makes me think I'm craving it, when really and truly the effect that it's having on my body is likely, uh, you know, just unnecessary. Um, you know, if I want to perform hoops more, eliminating eliminating coffee will be a great start. Replacing it with green tea. So it's not. It's the great thing about this is it's not um, eliminating caffeine entirely, or matine for that matter, which is nice because uh, you know there may be an interesting dynamic that occurs there, and then I can see how the caffeine factor goes after that. But there's something about the coffee and the chemistry of it, I believe, that's really been taxing. Even though I've been drinking organic blends, typically from supermarkets that have them, the organic um, large pots that you can just pull the lever back and it comes out. And it's been brewing, it's been brewed, fresh in the morning, more or less. I believe they even ground the beans first right there in the cafe, in these couple grocery stores I like to go to. So, I'm reflecting on what I've learned, about the art of kind of being a coffee drinker. And I've tried some fine coffees, but in general, I just like a good organic blend, um, medium, but with a full body. And I know I can see this change, because I remember 2 years ago, like it was last week. And I mean, 2 years ago to the week, I was on this. So there's a cyclical relationship, and uh, I believe it's happening. So I'm gonna pause here and um, check some messages and do another log.